how much different of a fight will we see from Charles when he faces Islam again?
No crumbs on this performance whatsoever. And here's the thing about his performance with Islam that we do need to keep in mind. Yes, he lost via submission, and I think that's what everybody wants to point to because it's like, oh, he got beat at his own game. Everyone forgets that he got cracked on the feet right before he got submitted. And he even said, listen, I underestimated Islam's striking. Now, after watching Islam's fight with Volkanovski, no one will do that again. Certainly not Charles. There is so much more tape to study on the way that Islam sets up his strikes, the way he sets up his takedowns. That one fight alone is an excellent tape study in terms of how you need to approach Islam Makhachev moving forward. You know that he will not underestimate his striking this time. And I just got to believe that if he doesn't do that, we're going to see a much more competitive fight, and I'm not going to count him out in this one.
You're on Team Anthony.
Yeah,
you guys aren't doing this anymore.
I owe him an apology. I feel like like when I run into him, I just need to hug him and say, I'm so sorry. I don't know why I do this. I think that obviously he'll be more competitive and it'll be a great fight. I do think that Justin Gaethje and Dustin Poirier are going to have something to say about that because they do have their own fight coming up, and those are two fresh matchups for Islam that he hasn't had yet. So. I think Charles has still got to continue to get the fans behind him, get people talking about it and looking forward to that fight.
Look, as a fan, I want to see Charles get Islam next because I always believe if you're the champion, there's certain benefits that come with that. And if there's a chance for a rematch sooner than later, you get that option as the former champion to go in there and see if you can get your belt back. But again, we do have Dustin Poirier and Justin Gaethje coming up at the end of July. And to Anthony's point, that would be a matchup that Islam has not had yet. So, Laura, let me start with you. Who should be next for Islam Makhachev?
I genuinely believe that Charles Oliveira should be next for Islam Makhachev. I think that he earned that right tonight by finishing Beneil Dariush in the manner in which he finished him. Now, I like Dustin Poirier fight. I like the Justin Gaethje fight. But I'll be honest with you, when you sit back and think about, okay, well, how would those fights go? It's really hard not to, in your mind, think of Islam Makhachev as a better Khabib. And then you look at how those fights went. That's my only hang-up with it. So if either of those guys can have a lights-out performance against one another, yeah, they'll be in the running, but I think Charles is the one who deserves the shot.
Anthony?
You know, I think it's a numbers game. I think you pointed it out. We know how Justin Gaethje fights, and we know how Dustin Poirier fights.
True.
They're likely not going to be ready in October after their fight, no matter who wins. They're going to go out there. They're going to do extreme damage to each other because they're both just savages, and they're going to stand in the pocket, and they're going to trade, and they're both going to look absolutely awful for the first month, let alone fight in 6 or 8 weeks or whatever it is.
Right.
I think just by the numbers game, it probably is Charles Oliveira because you can't wait a whole nother month to see how that fight goes, and then hope that one of them comes out uninjured because chances are neither one of them are coming out uninjured no matter who wins.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.